We're talking about the COVID impacts on youth sports and what some parents and children are experiencing as they headed into the hockey season or any sports season for that matter. And joining me again is Joe Anidjar, who is founder of Youth Sports Freedom Fighters. Joe, you mentioned that your organization kind of emerged out of this need of parents wanting to connect, to share what was happening. But I think for our viewers' benefit, we need to know, well, what was happening? You come from the hockey area of sports. What are we seeing happening with youth in hockey these days?
So, as you know, the province of Ontario has pretty much left it up to these organizations to play God and make these mandates an actual thing.
And by these
So,
organizations, you mean like locals, like hockey clubs, provincial
absolute,
ones?
yeah. So the private clubs like the GTHL, like the OMHA, and so on and so forth, all these leagues have taken it on their own hands to mandate these vaccines for children that obviously, in my opinion, do not need it. And they're going over and beyond the recommendations from the province, which is very, it makes me ask questions. Why? Why are you leaving it up to these organizations, especially when it's involving children? You're pretty much dividing people. You're pulling kids away from a sport that they love, that gives them so much, joy during those seasons, taking them away from their teammates, taking them away from just why they play the sport in general. And it's to me, it's insanity. And
And when you
go
mentioned
ahead.
the regulations, you're right. So, for example, in the province of Ontario, I did read the guidelines or the regulation, if you will, and it was very
Right.
clear that youth who are accessing a facility that has a vaccine mandate or accessing a sport that has their own vaccine mandate, that any youth is basically under 18 who is accessing that facility or engaging in that
Activity.
activity with the specific interest of participating in that youth sport is exempt from any passport mandate, any passport or any
Exactly.
mandate. But you're right, I have seen that some organizations, you mentioned a couple, are going above and beyond. Give us an example of what do you mean they're going above the regulations? What are they asking for?
Well, I mean, a recommendation is what it is. It's the province saying, hey, look, you can recommend these vaccine mandates if you see fit. So the organizations like the GTHL, like the OMHA are going, we're following the guidelines and we're following our top doctors in Ontario, and we're going to abide by what is being said on that topic, excuse me. So to me, it's just, I have a few questions when it comes to that. First of all, you're leaving thousands of kids without playing sports. Number two, how are you recovering for the lack of registrations and the fees for the leagues? How is that happening? I know how that's happening. They're obviously getting some sort of kickback from the province to assist and to balance their books, because I'm telling you, there's thousands of kids left astray, not playing sports due to these mandates.
Okay,
And
and
it's not
and just again to be very clear, so are these kids, because there's right now we have the COVID jab is available for those 12 and up. So are kids 12 and up who, for creed reasons, medical reasons, or whatever reasons, elect not to get the vaccine, or their parents may elect for them, because technically a 12-year-old can consent to their own health care.
right.
So if they are not vaccinated in the eyes of the club, then they're being told, no, you can't participate at all?
You cannot play. The team wouldn't be able to register the team if someone was unvaccinated on the roster.
So zero tolerance policy, no exemptions.
Ju- Well, just from my experience and people who have talked to me, everyone who has handed in a creed exemption or a medical exemption, it's been denied.
Wow.
And this is across the board. One. I have not seen one exemption be accepted, which to me, I mean, everyone has their reasons. Everyone has, a reason, and it's legit reasons. Like kids that are having, that have heart issues, going to their doctor and saying, "I need an exemption to play hockey. Can you please give me an exemption?" And it's being denied
Being
for a
denied by the
heart
doctor or being denied by the club?
by the club,
Mm.
by the
Wow.
organizations itself. And from from the last time I've checked, I mean, these leagues are standing tall. They're not budging. They're not moving. So our group, what I've done was I tried to organize a few things with other organizations like Take Action Canada, like these other organizations like Game On Canada, who support, what's happening. Like they don't support the
Right.
mandates; they support the fight against it.